Hey, come see us live. We're doing our Rumble Time show September 27th in Los Angeles. We'll be in Tempe, Arizona, and we'll be in Burbank, California. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. How the could Taylor Swift not be screaming about all the censorship, not be screaming about what Israel's doing in Palestine? She did nothing. Just like, oh no, Kamala, she's a black woman, so that's great. I'm all on board. Like, what? You're not like, why are you protesting? That's what musicians are supposed to be doing.
But that's the thing. Do you think, because I mean, if you were that high up, I would think, and I said this last night on the news, and it was probably not the right thing to say, especially on a shareholder, with all those shareholders involved. But you're that high up. You don't have a little bit of intel? Like, I'm this low down and I have intel. Like, where are you getting your information from? Before, I mean, I would be embarrassed to endorse or say anything about anybody without having, without being 100% or at least 99% sure that I'm doing the right thing. So I'm thinking, like with Clooney and De Niro, like when De Niro went to the courthouse, to me, it felt like he was acting. I was like, that's the worst performance he's ever fucking given. And now there's like paisans for Kamala. I'm like, first of all, Italians are always conservative. So what the fuck is this wave of Italians? And a lot of them are my friends, So I'm like, Tony Soprano would not endorse this. No fucking way in hell. But I don't understand how these celebrities are not hip to the fact that they are aligning themselves with terror, with the continuation of the war on terror. But the terror now are our children's minds and bodies, and it's way beyond that. I mean, it's so deep. There's so many layers to this onion. It's impossible to peel it. But if they only knew how Ukraine started,
they don't. They
don't, and they're out there with their little Instagram Ukraine buttons, and I'm like, yeah, I'm for the Ukrainian people too. But do you even know what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, and the Ukrainian people are being used as cannon fodder in a proxy war between the West and Russia. It's an economic war, and we provoked it.
Yes, 100%. And I just, every time, there's this and that and the other thing, and I'm like, do you guys know who Victoria Nuland is? Like, just go listen to the phone calls when Biden was the vice president,
right.
and he's going there. I mean, they're operating a coup there. And there's Nazis all over the place. You're calling me a fucking Nazi while you guys support the Nazis? I'm like, I don't understand what's going on.
Jon Stewart hung a medal on a legit Nazi at Disney World, and he'll never answer for it, and he'll never go anywhere where they'll ask him about it.
The better one is Sean Penn.
Yeah.
In Ukraine with his fucking Oscar.
Yeah.
I wanted to shove that thing so far up his fucking ass. I can't tell you. I'm sorry. Great actor, fantastic, but you guys have all fucking lost me now.
He's a tool of the CIA, and they think like the movies, like the CIA are the good guys. The CIA guys are this. They're the strong. They're the muscle for the economic hitmen of the United States.
Wait, are you saying that you think Sean Penn is the CIA or Zelensky? Which one?
No, I'm saying they're both.
Oh, yeah. I mean the El Chapo thing. I mean, if you mind your own fucking business, or somebody has some serious shit on you, and this is the game you decided to play for them. I mean, I can't figure it out.
Sean Penn he doesn't seem like the sharpest knife in the knife thing, and I think he's easily fooled. There's lots of actors who think it's cool to wear a CIA hat. They think that like the whole people used to call themselves liberals because of Trump. They fell in love with the FBI and the CIA. They know the FBI. Their whole history was infiltrating lefty organizations and destroying them. Right?
Yes.
Whether they're black organizations, white organizations, or worker organizations, that's what they do. And all of a sudden, because of Trump, they just became every bad thing they love the FBI. They love the CIA. The CIA are nothing but the strong arm for economic hitmen. And they've started every war. How many coups have they done? How many people are dead because of them? And then now they wrap themselves in the gay pride flag.
I know. It's not so much different because I live in Laurel Canyon. It's sad when you know this, but maybe I'm still researching a little bit, but When you know that the whole, I mean, when you read like David Horowitz's books too, like the whole hippie generation, the possibility of it having been a psyop. So
Yes.
when you go even farther,
Yes.
and everyone that lived in that canyon, from David Crosby to Stephen Stills to Jim Morrison's
yes.
father at the Gulf of Tonkin, I mean, the stories are endless. Zappa.
Yes.
I don't understand. And the military base that Jared Leto lives in up there. I'm like, what the fuck is happening up here? And I'm in the middle. My house wouldn't let me go. I tried to sell it and they were like, no, bitch, you're staying right here in the vortex. And my house has all of the Laurel Canyon history to it, with all the people that live there. But wow, no one's told that Laurel Canyon documentary yet. There's Echo in the Canyon. There's Bob Dylan's son doing his version of it. Wait until I do my fucking version of it.
What's that book you were reading, Steph?
Isn't it Chaos?
Chaos.
And there's
Oh, yeah, that's a big one. That's
and then there's
the
the other
Manson
one, the Laurel Canyon. I'll look at the title about the
The
Laurel Canyon.
Weirdos of Laurel Canyon, I think it is.
I'll see
It's
what
a
it
little
is.
one. It's
But
a little book. I was reading it on the airplane and I was like, oh my God, the fucking list never ends. I'm out of breath right now. How many more of you?
Manson.
I mean, Manson, that's the CIA book. That's the big red one. But
Chaos,
the
right.
little one, the
Weird
Chaos
scenes
book,
inside the canyon.
that fucking book.
What is it called? Weird?
Weird scenes inside the canyon.
Weird
You know,
scenes inside
it started to make sense that Neil Young would come out and bash on Joe Rogan about freedom of speech. After I started reading that book, I was like, oh, see, these guys are just a bunch of fucking assholes, every single one of them. And I love music, so it's heartbreaking. And our whole Make Freedom Psychedelic Again movement is about, it's the only way to get through to liberals is that the Woodstock movement. And if you ever told them that it was used, that was used to destroy the minds of young people at that time and to keep everyone quiet, even though they were raging, there's just so much. It's just MK Ultra all day long.
Well, you know that Beatles song, say you want a revolution. Well, we all want to change, but that was an anti-revolution song. It was like, oh, shut up. That's what the message of that song was. Oh, get over yourself.
I know.
Everywhere, yeah.
But at the same time, I do think that if John Lennon were alive, and some of them, I do think that if some of them were alive, they'd be like, "What the fuck is happening?"
Well, certainly not Paul McCartney.
No, well, he's still here, and he is indebted to Live Nation, I guess.
Oh, is that it? Okay.
No, I don't know. I'm just being a smart ass, but I mean, a lot of musicians I heard would not endorse Kennedy over Live Nation. Because they don't want, they still want to tour. And I'm like, but you people are 90. Like, the country is in trouble.
Why
Forget
does Live
about your
Nation give a
fucking
shit about
career.
Robert F. Kennedy?
I guess look at the shareholders, maybe. That's always the answer. Go look at the shareholders. I don't know.
I know people who are high up in Live Nation who secretly told me they didn't get vaxxed.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. But they had to keep it a secret.
But every one of my friends that worked at the Garden had to. Tripled. It's just not fair.
Neil Young, before COVID, this is why it's so crazy that he would slander Joe Rogan the way he did. He used to do protests against GMOs in food.
I couldn't even go to his concerts anymore. I was like, you know what? This is going too far now. Now I want to check out, listen to some music. But the original movement of all their music was wow, and I wasn't alive during those times, but it was beautiful music and I love it. And music's dead right now too. Like I said earlier, I feel like the American dream is on hold for a lot of people. My boyfriend's in the music industry. We're making shirts. I was an actor. We're just like, what the fuck do we do now? Yeah,
I mean, Green Day.
Well, I mean, a lot of those bands. I mean, they wrote an anti-Bush album when Shooter wrote the anti-Bush album. My ex, the one that I told you that Stephen King narrated, Shooter got destroyed for it because he had a country music following, and that was the Bush administration. At that time, no one knew that he was the Republican ticket. It's not much different than it is now with the Democrats. They think the Republicans felt like, we got Bush here, he's our Republican, we're good. And now they all look back on that time and they're like, what the fuck? And I feel like that's going to happen again when people wake up. And I look at all my hippie friends and I'm like, wow, you guys are all so rock and roll and you're all a bunch of hippies. But when you find out what you were a part of, I don't know how that's going to sit with you. And I also wonder a lot about say Trump gets in there with Kennedy and they start opening up all the files, the JFK, the MLK, all of them, all the, with the FBI, the CIA, so all
MK
initials, if they start doing that, what would happen in the streets? What would the American people do? Is it too dangerous to open that stuff up and show them what's been done to them, even with COVID?
I think that's the only thing that could save this country.
I agree. But how irate?
Because you need something that will get people in the streets, like what happened in Canada during COVID with the truckers. You need the truckers to come together with farmers. I mean, that's happening in Europe. They won't let me show that on YouTube. They demonetize it if I show it on YouTube. Are you
kidding? So they won't show you the slinging shit everywhere?
No, they demonetize that stuff. But
our farmers are in trouble.
Yes, I know. Of course. The biggest owner of farmland in America is Bill Gates. He's the biggest landowner in the country.
And
Bill
China
Gates.
now, next to the military bases. I mean, that's whatever. And I've heard some other crazy shit, but I'll keep my mouth shut right now because I want you to stay on YouTube.
And people buy the propaganda that Bill Gates is a nice guy who's he's just trying to cure malaria, Jimmy. He's trying to help poor people.
Let's talk to them.
Yeah, talk to India.
And I don't know how they let them back. They let him back in. Let him back in. And that is like how much of I don't know. That's a mafia right there, man.
Hey, come see us live. We're doing our Rumble Time show September 27th in Los Angeles. We'll be in Tempe, Arizona, and we'll be in Burbank, California. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.